Hello and welcome back. Uh, if you have seen my very first video, you might remember this RF tester. It is an FM transceiver comprehensive tester, and I bought it one more than a year ago, but I had not any fun trying to play with it. It was sent only in a bag, so it was already damaged when it came. And also when it started up, the lights were just very bright and then it was broken, so I couldn't test it. I did put a dispute and it was all arranged. And then I kind of lost interest in the device. But it is still very nice because it goes from, I think, from a half to 470 megahertz as a signal generator. And as a receiver, it goes up to 900 if I'm correct. So yeah, but then I found my Marconi here. I found a second-hand one that is working super fine. So then I never looked at this thing again. But I still got questions on that video. Even the only thing I did there is take out all the electronics and use the resistor that is inside. It's kind of a dummy load. So I use it as an RF top. So that was my video, was more about this RF top. The only thing that was still working because the rest was all burnt or non-functional. But I had, because I got so many questions, I asked Banggood, can you please send me? And they did. So I have a new one. And now I can really show you. And they learned from the other time. And they put it now in bubble wrap. A little bit more protected. But they didn't send an adapter, and that seems to be normal because with this thing they also didn't send an adapter, and that is also where it starts, because this one just says 12 volt 1 amp, and if I read now the new documentation, it says use only 12 volts, and then later it says you need to use between 8 and 12 volts, and 12 volt really the maximum. And then it says even later, they say, we have seen reviews from people that they burn the display because they use a little bit more than 12. So, well, they could have avoided this problem by just sending the correct adapter, but they didn't. So, I want to see what is on here, if this one works. And then maybe, because it says between 8 and 12, maybe I just built in, because it's only 200 milliamps, it says here. It says, yeah. So maybe I just put a 9 volt regulator and then I can just connect it to my 12 volts in the lab, and then I don't need to worry about it because I don't want to make separate power. I just want to be able to get my DC plug and just plug it in. And then it's protected from 30 volts. So yeah, that could have also done that. But yeah, I open this. So I removed most of the tape, and it is again the same arm. And well, let's see. Well, it looks exactly like the same model. Well, let's put the feeds. It is nice and small. No? You have a very nice little small Marconi like this. Okay, I will try to remove the foil. And it still says just 12 volts. It doesn't say between 8 and 12 maximum. It just says put the 12 volt. And I'm now a bit scared to do that. So I will first try 9 volts and then go up to see if the display gets more or less bright. And if it doesn't, I first put a 9 volt regulator in before I do anything, because I don't want it to burn. Okay, here I have them. They still look very similar as they did. Uh, I don't think they did too many hardware changes, but let me zoom in. Well, if we look at the old one, of course, a big part is missing, and here you can still see the burn marks. That one was not good. If you look here at the RF top, what they did, this looks quite simple. They say it's 60 to 75 watts, but here it clearly says 60 watts. So, okay. But they also mention higher power, lower time. So you need to use it very shortly. And maybe I can get them both. I need to zoom out a little bit. You can see that this PCB is a little bit more complex than this one here. And I do remember if that there was a power readout, and maybe they changed the board and the power readout is now done here. It also seems that someone did some soldering right there. So I'm not sure if that works well. I'm a bit surprised because it was sent new and it really looks like someone worked on this one here. And he did not do a really nice job. But I'm just gonna test it. Maybe they sent me a repaired one because it was a free sample. Okay, now let's see about this 9 volts or 12 volts. Well, you see, they use very, very tiny wires, but it only takes 200 milliamps, so that is not a lot. Let me put this one away, because it will be a bit confusing maybe. So we're just gonna play with this one. And I'm just gonna feed in 9 volts, because it should start working from 8, but let's do 9. Output on, 9 volts, switch on. Okay, the display is bright. I will zoom in later to show you the details. And I'm just gonna go to 10 volts, 11, 12. I don't see any change. So I think they, okay, 13, back to 12. I think I feel more comfortable going just to, now 7, it starts to dim a bit. If I go above 8, so I pick 9, then it's okay. I don't want to be confused because sometimes, because I'm running transmitters, I'm using 13.8 volts, and then I will immediately blow this one up. So I think I will quickly just put a little regulator in between. Let me see, I have a bunch of these three-legged things. What is this? $15. I should have a 9 also. 12. I'm gonna do it a little bit quick and dirty. This is just 7809, and if I remember correctly, it was in, ground, out. So I'm just gonna try quickly if that is the case. I will put the ground and input. Let me get, I need my ground. Right here. So the output should be 9 then. Now it's now a little bit less because I'm now at 9 volts and it needs a little bit extra. If I go to 10 volts, 11, 12, and now it stays constant. 15, 17. Okay, well, that will protect the circuit, and it's not hot because it will do 200 milliamps, and if it does get hot, then I can just put it on the big cooling in the bottom. I will do that anyway. There is, let me just switch this off. There is here behind the glue, there is a little nut, so I will just screw it there because let me measure first at this ground because I made that mistake once before. Like that this ground is really this ground and that it is also the ground of the pin. Okay, so there is no problems there then. Perfect. Okay, they put a lot of glue. I will just remove that first. I try to remove that first. You cannot see. Yeah, look, perfect. That's gone. And then I was just thinking putting the regulator just here on the same. Well, I have more cooling if I remove it completely. And then this is the in pin, so I can just connect that directly to the DC. This wire that goes first to the switch, I just connect to the output. And I can put the ground pin also there, and then it's already there. Maybe it's even more convenient if I turn the, I will remove the glue also from this one, and then I turn it a little bit, and then the pins also align. Okay, I did that. They also used a little flat cable for the power, and they probably used just any wire, and it was a red one, but it was actually the ground, and I really didn't like that, so I changed it into a black wire to make it more clear. And in the end, it's very simple. I could just place it like this, bend the pins, and yeah, the power out just goes to the switch here, back to the pin there. And ideally, you maybe want to put some caps here, but for me, it's okay. It's already better than it was. Okay, that's good. I can just now connect it to my 12 volts of the lab, and I don't need to worry that I by accident blow it. It is just almost 9 volts, and that was enough because it could work already at 8. So now I don't need to worry. I can close it later. And well, there is a little signal generator and inside, but I think it's now in receive mode. So I need to find out now how to switch it over. I will close it up first. Okay, I have put it in receive mode. So it is to test your receiver. So it means it's a signal generator. And I should now be putting 50 megahertz with minus 90 dB. And it is not showing on the frequency counter. It's not showing on the Marconi. And the only thing I can only change it from minus 32 dB to minus 90. So I put it to minus 90. That's the lowest. Yeah, but it really doesn't do anything. So, or the signal is so super low that it doesn't show on the frequency counter. But I need to see how low that is, because usually a receiver could easily do 1 microvolt, and maybe that is just too low. Wait, let me check. Maybe it does do something. Because indeed you check your receiver is about a microvolt, and that these things usually need 50 millivolt around. So maybe it is working, but because also the weird soldering that was done, I'm a bit scared it doesn't do anything. Okay, indeed, the problem was that the receive signal is indeed so low that you can't pick it up with your frequency counter, and my oscilloscope also doesn't get it. But here I put my little radio. Let me just get this. I hope you can hear that. Now I'm gonna increase the signal, and as you can see, that works. So you can indeed adjust your receiver like this. Cool. I'm gonna try that in practice. Also, I'm gonna see if I can try to put the modulation. Yeah, it is a bit. These are the arrows to change your cursor. Now, this is the super audio, I think, of now. Let me see. 1 kHz. Okay. Back to the signal. Perfect. Cool. Just like the Marconi. You need to get used how to get with your cursor to go around, but it's kind of cool. And there is even a sub audio option. Cursor. Yes. Signal up. Yeah, it becomes clear. You can see also the meter. Let me try to put a light. Here is the signal strength just up there. And if I lower, you can see it also lowers. Okay. Well, then I also want to transmit. I think you can do both at the same time, and then I should see the frequency here. How much power. But how I change it to the other mode. Okay, if you want to switch from receive mode to transmit mode, even though it works simultaneously, it is just that you switch the display because now it is in the receiver mode. And then you see the frequency of the receiver you want to test. But now we want to do the transmit mode in long push F1. Now we go into listen mode. So if we transmit, I was expecting now a frequency readout. It doesn't. Why not? Okay, I have read again, and it is indeed just as simple as I did. It just switches over. Let me see, F1. This is the receive mode. Then this is how you can test your transmitter. And it just should automatically display the frequency, and it does not do that. It says now it's 0.45 watts, but Marconi doesn't agree. And if I switch it over to the other frequency, it says it's 2.3, and I'm here on the 430 megahertz. And the Marconi also doesn't agree, so the power meter is also not good. The frequency doesn't display. That is maybe something to do with the ugly soldering and the 2 pins broken there. How can they send the second time a broken one, really? Okay, I'm now looking at that thing they try to repair, and it looks super ugly. And they did some modifications also here. Really, this is so dirty work. And if this is part of the input circuit for the frequency counter, then of course it doesn't work. I will clean this up first. So I managed to clean up a little bit all the dirt, and I got the soldering that was here double. Here it looks like it should not be double. So I took that out. Okay, that is really a pity. I cleaned up all the soldering, and but it still doesn't work. So Banggood managed to send me twice a unit that is not fully functional, and that is really a pity because it could be a very nice device, and especially the Marconi costs a lot of money, even if you can still find it, if you can find it. And this would be a nice alternative. And well, the first one didn't work at all, and you could see the burn marks there. So that was just sent, and this one is now sent, and only the generator works. Yeah, and the frequency counter and the transmit. Also, the power meter is not accurate at all because it says half a watt on 2 meters, and here it said 2 watts, and also it displayed on 70 centimeters 2 and a bit, while it was actually 3 and a bit on the Marconi. So the whole input circuit is not good at all. So yeah, what can I say? Maybe it's just bad luck, but 2 out of 2 bad luck. I wouldn't trust it. And these are expensive, no? So that was a real pity. Yeah, the one I received a year ago was not working good. Well, it was not working at all, and it had burn marks already on the PCB. Well, that was solved, but I didn't feel like having another one because I found the Marconi, and now I thought, okay, you guys ask me questions. I asked Banggood to send me another one, and they did. This time it was a free sample. But again, this one is broken. The receive test did work. That was nice because if you have the other little, these little generators, they output way too much to adjust the receiver. And this one actually did that correct. But the whole transmit test didn't work. The power readout was wrong, and the frequency didn't display. So again, 2 out of 2. Both not fully functional. I'm sorry. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.